Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, May 14th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. We thank you guys for subscribing as well if you have done that. If you haven't subscribed, please do so on YouTube. That helps us out a bunch. We appreciate that. Also, we are live on X. Every day we're on X, and we've done well on X. We appreciate that. So if you're watching live on X, thank you for that. And as always, there's the podcast form of the show as well. So if you miss us live, you don't want to look at me, which I get it. You can check us out on anywhere you get your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Podbean, you name it. You should be able to find Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So go check us out. Beautiful day in the Quad Cities once again. So if you're going to go work out, go for a run, something like that later on, mow the grass, download the show and check us out via the podcasting platforms as well. Before we get going into today's show and what we got going, and we got a great lineup once again, I want to give you guys a heads up that coming up on Friday, we will have Illinois football coach Bret Bielema joining us on Off the Air. Excited about that. A couple Fridays ago, we had Kirk Ferentz on the show. Equally as excited to catch up with Bret Bielema. Huge high expectations in Champaign for the Fighting Illini this season. So excited to catch up with Bret about that, about the Quad Cities as well. Obviously a Prophetstown native, so plenty of knowledge of the Quad Cities, and he has some really good standouts there. Cole Rusk from Rock Island, Matthew Bailey from Moline, just to name a couple that are down at the University of Illinois doing big things. So Bret Bielema coming up on Friday on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. But today is Wednesday. We got a few days to wait for that, but we got a great show for you today. Coming up in just a matter of moments, we'll be joined by former Hawkeye great, former Muscatine standout, Joe Wieskamp. Joe's got a lot going on. He recently just won a 3-on-3 nationals competition in which he was named the MVP. So we're going to talk to him about that. Of course, he played in Australia this past season. He's got a camp coming up in the Quad Cities, the 4th annual camp down in Muscatine. I want to talk to you guys about that as well. And then also we'll talk to him about the Iowa basketball program. Of course, we talked to Joe on March 13th, and on March 15th, Fran was fired. So we'll talk to him about Fran's legacy, and then, of course, the new era of Iowa basketball. So Joe Wieskamp in a matter of moments. It's also Wednesday, which means it's Steamwheeler Wednesday right here on OTA. And for the first time since doing this, we got a loss to talk about. The Wheelers dropped their first game of the season this past weekend on the road. They're 6-1 still. They're still one of the best teams in the entire league, in the entire IFL. And the good news is they're coming home. They have a home game this weekend to get right back on track, and we'll make sure they do that. We're going to talk to KeShaun Moore coming up a little bit later on here in hour number 1. And then also coming up in hour number 2, around 11 o'clock, we'll be joined by Rock Island softball coach Julia Hudnall. The Rocks back from Quincy last night, in which they clinched an outright Western Big Six softball title. So we'll talk about the Rocks, get our thoughts on this year's team, the postseason right around the corner. And then also, if you haven't noticed here on the show, we've had a lot of Quad City softball standouts. The area is really, really good when it comes to softball. Also, I mean, just Blackhawk College. We talked to Josh Keener on Monday about them getting ready to go nationals. So want to talk to Julie about the fact that Taylor Panel, a former Rock Island product, is doing huge things for one of the best programs in the entire country down in Tennessee. So a lot to get to, a little Rock Island softball in hour number 2 here on OTA. If you missed any of this week's shows, on Monday, we had Kendra Lewis, the Rock Ridge softball standout, first team All Big Ten. She was in studio with us on Monday, so if you missed that, go check it out. Pat Angerer was on the show, and Blackhawks' Josh Keener. Yesterday was 50 days until the start of the John Deere Classic. So Andrew Lehman hopped on, told us that TJ Hawkinson and Riley Moss will be in the Pro-Am this year for the John Deere Classic. So that was cool. Talked a bunch of JDC with him, so go check that out. We also had Kyle Huseman talking about the Iowa baseball program, and David Gamble, the head coach over at Davenport North for their soccer program. They just had a great event this past weekend. We talked about that. And also, they got a huge match coming up tomorrow against Pleasant Valley with the MAC Championship on the line. So go check out Mondays and Tuesdays shows if you missed that. Today, throughout the day, tonight at 7, the NFL, at 7 or 6. Anyways, this evening, the NFL schedules will be released. They're slowly starting to trickle through. A couple of them yesterday. It'll be Bears-Eagles on Black Friday, and then Bears-Packers was like December 30th. Those were the two for the Bears that were announced. For my beloved Lions and for the Packers, they'll open the season against each other. That was just leaked a few hours ago. So it'll be the two-time NFC North champion Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field, 425, 325 here for week 1 of the NFL season. So also some Illinois basketball news, or Illinois sports news in general. The Illini extending both Brett Bielema and Brad Underwood yesterday. So Brett Bielema's extended through 2031, so 6 more years. He'll be making $7.7 million a year. That's 8th in the Big Ten. Now you think 8th in the Big Ten is low, but when you look at the amount of teams in the Big Ten now, it's middle of the pack, upper middle of the pack when it comes to Big Ten coaches, and he's done an amazing job. Again, huge expectations for Illinois football this season. Brett Bielema will join us coming up on Friday right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And we're joined now by a very familiar face here in the Quad Cities, especially down in Muscatine, and if you're a Hawkeye fan as well. Joe Wieskamp joining us today. Good to see you, stranger. How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I want to get the important stuff out of the way. Little JJ and you just celebrated Mother's Day with Mackenzie. Did you do a good job? How did Mother's Day go with Mackenzie? Did you spoil that young lady? She deserves it.
We did our best. Yeah, we got her some flowers, and then I got her a gift card, facial, and a massage. And then she's been into baking sourdough lately, so it's kind of a weird thing, but it's called kamut flour. It's a special flour, apparently the best thing for it, and so got her some of that as well.
There you go. So you spoiled her. You were practical. Flowers are always a must. Is the sourdough good? Is she baking sourdough bread and stuff like that?
It's elite, I have to admit. I'm pretty hooked on it.
Okay, so that was a gift that kept on giving because you in turn benefit from the gift. So well done, Joseph. Well done. You're doing good. How is JJ? How is Mackenzie? Everything good?
Yeah, they're both doing good. They're loving being home. Like I said, we just moved into our new house a couple months ago, just getting a nice routine established, and just nice to have all our stuff in one spot. Finally, JJ's playing with all his toys, and we're a couple houses down from Mackenzie's parents, so get to see them a lot, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And baby number 2 is here in August.
Yep, end of August. Got a little girl on the way, so excited for that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I got a couple things I need to talk to you about before. I want to talk a little Iowa basketball with you too. But first off, you were back from Australia last time we talked to you. Had a great season over there. You recently were in a 3-on-3 nationals event out in Phoenix. And you did well. You were the MVP. I know you're modest, so I'll tell everybody you did great. What was that like for you, and a great, unique opportunity to continue your basketball career wherever it takes you?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Jimmer Fredette is the guy who's kind of taken over the program, and he reached out to me and my agent and just asked if I'd want to come try it and really just see what it's all about, because 3-on-3 is obviously still basketball, but it's a whole different type of game. You play outside. There's music playing during the game. It's 12-second shot clock, so it's really fast-paced. The ball comes out of the net, and the defense has to clear it behind the three-point line. But you're just playing like constantly. 10-minute game to 21, so it's fast-paced. It's a 12-second shot clock, and so you're just getting shots up, and you're involved in every action. So it was a really fun experience. I enjoyed it. I'm actually going to talk to him tomorrow about potential future opportunities with it. But nonetheless, it was a cool week. Had a lot of fun. My family lives in Phoenix too, which is where it took place, so got to see them. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, knowing you and your game, I feel like fast pace, shoot the ball quickly. That for a shooter like yourself, kind of talk about that, because that's the fun parts of the game and stuff that you're pretty darn good at.
Yeah, you're just able to work on your game, taking tough shots, using my athleticism at the rim, being able to block shots and whatnot. And then just, it makes you think out there because you're involved in every action. So you only have 4 guys on your team. So in your film sessions, you're talking with the guys more so than when in a 5-on-5 game, the coach is kind of running through everything and explaining the scouting report and whatnot. But as a guy out there, there's no coach. Like, it's you 4 timeouts, you 4 huddling up, talking about what you guys are doing. So just, you're more involved in the game, I would say, a little bit, and challenges you mentally out there. So I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Absolutely. You look at, because I catch up with Chase and Randall now and then, and he won the G League this year. His team did. He's playing over in Africa right now with an NBA developmental league. Kind of talk about those type of opportunities. This is something where you got a phone call. Your agent got a phone call and you hopped on and you did it. Those kind of things are important. 1, to continue your development to where you ultimately want to be, but 2, you're playing the game of the basketball. I don't know if I told you 5 years ago you'd be playing a 3-on-3 league in the summer, you would have said, are you really? But kind of talk about those different opportunities and opportunities that you have to take advantage of as well, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about basketball is just how you're able to network with so many people. And with it being USA basketball, you never know what it could turn into. So I think it's always important to like jump at those opportunities and just go put your best foot forward and see what it turns into down the road. You never know if I get to play in it more. Like the Olympics in 28 are definitely something that could be potential. So I think just networking with people like that is always good.
No, absolutely. Joe Wieskamp joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Joe, you have a camp coming in Muscatine. Is it the 4th annual? Is that right?
It'll be 4th, yeah.
Wow, you're getting old. No, I'm kidding. The 4th annual, I want to get it right, Wieskamp Basketball Skills Camp. My kids have been down there several times. And it really is a fun event. Just before we talk about the details and all that kind of stuff, talk about doing the camp, because I know Muscatine is important to you. And it's not just Muscatine. Like, you got goofball kids from the Quad Cities, my kids coming down, and a lot of Quad City kids coming down as well. Scotty Moe brings a bunch of people down too. So talk about doing a camp in your hometown, because I think that's extremely important to you, isn't it?
It's, yeah, very important. And just all the love and support that I've gotten from the Muscatine community and just surrounding areas, it's just a cool opportunity for me to be able to give back, share some knowledge that I've learned throughout my playing career. I've obviously played for a lot of different teams, a lot of different coaches, and have just learned a lot along the way. So being able to come back every year and just interact with the kids. There's so many kids that, year 4, like they've been there each year. And it's fun to see them keep coming back, see them growing, see them developing. So it's just a lot of fun, and I'm excited to do it.
Everybody would love to have a camp back in their own hometown. Not too many. I don't know if anybody does a camp alongside of their wife, which I think is awesome. Obviously, Mackenzie is the best basketball player in your family. To have her do it with you and to have her relate with kids, and you know how great she is with kids, and show her knowledge of the game to young girls as well. Kind of talk about doing it with her. That's got to be extremely unique and extremely fun.
That's one of the best parts is my whole family's involved in it. All my friends come back, guys that I played with, their parents, they're all helping out with the camp. But yeah, having her be able to run the girls side of it's amazing too, because she's played at such a high level and has played for a lot of good coaches too. So to have that, and then last summer we had Monica Sonano come back. This year we're trying to get someone else, but it's just cool to have multiple different people that have played at a high level be able to share that knowledge for younger kids that are trying to get to that level.
When you said trying to get someone else, is that your way of trying to invite me? I know I've won 3 C-League championships, Joe, but I'm not doing a camp. I can't.
You can't reveal it already. I was trying to make it a big surprise.
Yeah, talk about a disappointing surprise that would be. The event itself, kind of go through how you do it, because and to go back to the older days, as a youngster, you went to tons of camps, I'm assuming. So do you cherry pick some of the things that you remember from some camps you did, and just talk about the basics of what you want to get done? Because it is a lot of kids. It's not an all day thing. It's a shorter amount of time, but my kids get out of there and they're like, man, I did this, I did that. Talk about structuring it, because you probably want to get some of those things that you did when you were a camper way back in the day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've played a lot of basketball and went to a lot of camps, played for a lot of coaches, and I think just piecing together some of the best drills that I've done throughout my career, and trying to put it into a camp structure where, like you said, a lot of kids can get better in a short amount of time, because the camp's only 2 hours, and you have a lot of kids there, but I think we do it in a way that they're able to get better, and then take those drills that we do and kind of do them on their own, because they had the whole summer to work on them.
Yeah.
And just being able to apply that. So it's a combination of all that.
So the information is June 24th. 2nd through 5th graders are 9 to 11 in the morning, 1 to 3 for 6th through 8th graders. Mackenzie's going to be there as well. It's at Muscatine High School. A great event, and you get a t-shirt, all those kind of things. A question answer thing, which I think is awesome. You signed, I think, 1 million autographs that day. Being at your alma mater and seeing all of those kids there, I mean, there's tons everywhere, and knowing that they're there because, of you and your wife and what you guys have done. What does that mean to walk around? Do you get a chance to walk around for a second? I know you're super busy, and just kind of take it all in, because there's kids everywhere playing the game you love with your name on it. That's got to be pretty cool.
It is really special. It's something I definitely don't take for granted. It's something I've worked really hard for, like all those times in the gym where I've tried to get myself to the highest level possible, and now, like I said, being able to give back to them and just see their love for the game, see them want to get better, and it just reminds me a lot of myself, wanting to learn from those who have been there before. So I'm just grateful that I'm in a position to be able to do it.
Yeah, but you'll see at least a couple of my kids down there. And the funny part is my 10-year-old wears his Joe Wieskamp shirt to baseball practice all the time. Like every time he goes to get ready for baseball, I'm like, buddy, you're wearing your Wieskamp shirt. He goes, it's my favorite. I love it. So it's a great event. It's a great event. We'll make sure we put all the information up on our social media as well. Joe, when you were on the last time, I had to go back and look, because we talked about the Iowa basketball program then, and it was Thursday. And I think the day that we aired it was a Thursday, and they lost that evening to Illinois. Season ended. Fran was let go. Your, I guess, overall thought process when you hear the news that Fran was no longer the head coach at Iowa, what kind of goes through your mind? Because that's your guy, and that's 15 years of great work at a university.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love Fran, love everything that he did for me and for the Iowa basketball program. And I'm happy for him just that he was able to go to Penn. Obviously, it's a tough situation. When I think of Iowa basketball, I think of Fran. So it's definitely going to be different. But everything I've heard about the new coach seems like great stuff. And so I'm excited for that as well.
Absolutely. That was my main goal. I think Mike McGazell was on. We talked to Jess Settles and Jess didn't play for him, but just some Iowa guys that I felt like Fran, while it didn't end great, deserved his flowers leaving because all-time winningest coach in the program. Amazing victories. Yes, you can argue about the March success and certain things, defense, all that kind of stuff. But on the grand scheme of things, I feel like he deserved his flowers of what he did. Kind of talk about that too, because he did accomplish a lot. And I remember him taking over the program, and you were a youngster in the state of Iowa. That was an Iowa fan, and he turned a program that had no life into it into a very successful program.
Yeah, no, like I said, I love Fran and just everything that he's done for the Iowa program. He has done so many great things. I can't list off the stats of how many tournaments he's been to, but just the way that he's developed guys. You see everyone that's played for him for the most part loves him. Like, he is a player's coach. He's going to do everything he can to put you in the right position to succeed on the court. And so, like you said, he definitely deserves his flowers, and he did a lot of really good things for not only the Iowa basketball program, but just the Iowa community, bringing the fan base around it. And so, yeah, just love Fran and wish him the best at Penn.
I asked Mike Gazelle this, so I'll ask you, do you have a Fran story? I feel like my Fran story is my dad passed away, and about 6 months later, Fran was doing an event here in the Quad Cities, and we did an interview, sat down with me, he was great, and then afterwards we just had some time, and we started talking. I let him know about my dad, and he sat there for, I guess, a half an hour easily, talking about losing a parent, all those kind of things, and he was just, he's this basketball guy, but he was so real in life, and I really appreciated that with him. When people say, hey, do you have a Fran story? And there's funny ones, there's some sentimental ones. Do you have a Fran story that you like to tell that maybe people don't get to hear all the time of what kind of person he really is?
There's not one that jumps out, but like you said, he's a dad. He is a father figure in a lot of ways to players on the team. And if there's anything off the court that comes up, he's going to be there for you. He's going to do anything he can to support you and give you the right resources to help that. And so that just says a lot about him and his character. And that's a big reason why guys love playing for him.
Absolutely. A few more for Joe Wieskamp before we let him go be a dad. I can hear JJ running around and everything like that. The Iowa basketball program with Ben McCullum. I know you've heard good things and all of that. What kind of stuff have you heard about Ben McCullum? Obviously, there's successes there at Drake. And what do you think about, because obviously you're a Fran guy, but you're a Hawkeye guy as well, and you want to see that program kind of get back to where it has been the last couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, being an Iowa kid, you always want to see the Iowa program succeed. And obviously, he's had a lot of success at everywhere that he's been. And he's clearly a guy who's detail-oriented, focused on really taking the program to the next level. And you can see by the type of guys that he's recruiting that he's going to continue focusing on Iowa guys and getting good players and good people in the program, which I think is really important. And I actually just worked out Trevin, who's committed to go to Iowa next year. And he's a great kid. He has a lot of potential. So I like what they're piecing together, and I wish them nothing but the best. I'm definitely going to be supporting them.
Have you met Coach McCullum, and how does a former player approach that? Because when you have Fran there, it's probably like, hey, Fran, I want to come by, or whatever. Does he reach out to players, former players? Do you reach out to him? Or are there even thoughts of those kind of things?
We haven't been in contact yet. There's definitely going to come a time where I want to introduce myself and meet him. And so I'll definitely get his information and meet him at some point.
Absolutely. Last one for you. We talk about this a lot, but the Quad City talent that's been, and I put Muscatine in the Quad City talent. So if you're watching from Muscatine, I know you're not technically Muscatine or Quad Cities, but our area talent continues to do big things and get better and better. And Brock and Owen are the younger ones that are in the college now, and several others. How proud of you of this area? And you know, the coaches that are here and the people that work here and skills coaches like Scott Morrell and stuff like that have done great things. How proud of you to be representative of what we do in this area? And are you watching other guys do other things and kind of keeping tabs on the local products from our area?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you help kind of broadcast what they're doing, so it's easy to follow. But it's cool to see all the guys have success, and there's so many guys in the area that are committed to getting better and are, you know, putting themselves at the next level. So definitely, obviously, you got Scott, but then you have Jordan Delt up in the Quad Cities, who I worked out with a lot growing up. So a lot of good people, a lot of good trainers, and kids are, definitely getting better and putting themselves in good positions.
All right. One last time, give the sales pitch to the camp. If you want to come have a good time, tell people why to come and check out the Joe Wieskamp basketball skills camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun day. We're obviously going to get better. We're going to focus on things that you can improve on, not only that day, but things that you can take and work on your own. And obviously just you'll be able to meet me, meet my wife, and you'll have our contact information. And so if you have any questions down the line, not even on that day, like, we'll be happy to help. You can reach out. And so I think it's just, like I said, how I did the USA stuff is just networking, meeting people. And so would love to have you guys come out, have a great day, meet us, and then, we'll be there to help you moving forward.
Love it. June 24th, Muscatine High School. I'll put all the information on how you can sign up as well on all my social media as well. Joe, I appreciate you as always. Always great catching up with you. Your wife is pregnant, so you need to go and take care of JJ. Let her enjoy the day. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right. That is Joe Wieskamp, former Hawkeye, former Muscatine standout, doing great things on the professional level as well. Get out to Muscatine. I don't know if we've been there every single year. There's some baseball that gets in the way every now and then, but we'll be back there. My kids love it. It's a great, great event. So the Wieskamp Basketball Skills Camp, go check it out. Coming up next on the show, it's Wednesday, which means it's Steamwheeler Wednesday. We'll talk with the Wheelers as they get ready for another home game coming up this weekend. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfathers is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Bad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. It is Wednesday, and so it's become one of my favorite days of the week because we talk Quad City Steamwheeler football on this day. And we had a really good thing going. Since the OTA and the Wheelers kind of did this thing, we hadn't lost. And we do have a loss to talk about, but it's just a bump in the road. It's just a bump in the road as KeShaun Moore joins me right now, and I'm going to fix your name on your screen real fast for you. But I'm doing everything on my own, my man, so you got to give me some time. First and foremost, thanks for doing this. I appreciate you doing it.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. We kind of talked about it because it's been such a good season, and it still is. The goal wasn't to go undefeated. It was nice, but what do you guys learn about a loss when you come back from Green Bay?
I think you kind of learn what kind of team you have. You get to see how the coaches and players respond after a loss. I think it's an opportunity to learn. We had close games, even when we, started out 6-0, so we knew we could lose. But the goal isn't to go undefeated. The goal is to, get the number one seed and get a championship. So I think we're still headed in the right direction. I'm not to say I'm glad we lost, but I was tired of hearing people talk about us being undefeated because it gets in some guys' heads sometimes. Yeah. And the fans, I love the fans you have in the area, but I want to get a ring. I don't want to go undefeated. I want to get a ring. So I think that's what matters most.
No, absolutely. There's lesson to be learned when it comes to losing, and kind of just talk about last weekend because it was a rare performance for you guys to play the way you did. Was it one of those things where it just wasn't clicking in all phases, or kind of talk about what did go wrong up in Green Bay?
Some plays swung our way, others didn't. Those first 6 games, a lot of people could say we had a lot of things go right for us. We pride ourselves in not making a lot of mistakes on the field, and we made a few too many last week. We didn't do a lot of the simple things that we had been doing, the 6 weeks prior. So those things caught up with us. They're, I believe, easy fixes. I think us as a team and as a coaches and our coaching staff, they believe and know that they're easy fixes. After going back and watching the film, the score, was what it was, but it was a lot closer when you look at the little things that could have been fixed here or there. So just been working on those this week and making sure it doesn't happen again.
You look at it, KeShaun, and it's one of those things where we'll quit talking about what happened because and it's a shorter week too. It's a Friday night game back at home. How excited are you guys? I know you love playing the game, and it's great to play regardless, but after a loss, how excited are you to look at that film, learn from it, and then get back out there? I'm sure there's an eagerness maybe to practice this week.
For sure, yeah. The guys are super excited. Practice has been good this whole week. I'm excited to get back out and play again, especially being in front of our home crowd as well. And we got the halfway to Halloween theme going. So that, is all for the fans, in my opinion. But I know the guys are ready to go back out and redeem ourselves.
No, absolutely. Tulsa comes to town. Before we talk about them, I want to talk about that environment and those fans, because you guys have had over 6,000 people there this year at some points. Great crowds every time. And it's not that way everywhere you go. I mean, I watch on YouTube, I see, and it's different in the Quad Cities. There's some great environments you got to go to, but it's different here.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about playing here in front of these fans, in front of this community. I think it's a smart fan base, a rabid one, an energetic one, all those kind of things, but a smart fan base as well. Kind of talk about your home fans, because they're important. I know that.
They definitely come to show out. I think our record at home over the last several years has been awesome. I think we've only lost like a handful of games and won like 20, 30 plus or something like that. So having, the fans come out definitely helps the home field advantage. Even when you're out in the community and stuff, when we do school visits or we're at the store, we'll meet fans here and there. Like, it's just a great atmosphere and environment to be in, especially on game day. Like, they start pouring in when we're doing warm-ups and stuff. We're talking to them on the sidelines after the games, like out there and everything. So I think it's awesome. I absolutely love the support in the area. As part of the reason why, I did decide to come back this year. And I mean, even with, the year we had last year, we still had fans coming out. And I'm glad to give them, at least a better start to the season this year and hopefully get a championship for them.
It's funny because there has been an extra buzz around the community, and I know the undefeated thing was a thing, but it's not the only thing. And I think fans do know that this is a good football team. 6-1 is really, really good. Are you feeling that extra, buzz from the community? It's always good, but in my opinion, I've covered it for a long time, there is something different about this season. Do you feel that buzz this year?
Kinda. I try not to get too much into the off the field stuff. I like to go out there and just hit people. So I like to keep it real simple. But I do get a sense, from the community that everyone's, kind of talking about us and like keeping tabs on us and keeping eyes on us, which is cool. But, if we don't win, that buzz isn't there. So I just want to make sure we do our job on the field so the fans can enjoy it off the field.
KeShaun Moore joining us right now from the Quad City Steamwheelers. Game on Friday against Tulsa, 4-2, I think, on the season for them. What do you see from them? What do you expect? And I talk about it every week. Each and every week is a dogfight. I mean, you can forget about records here and there. If you don't show up and play Quad City Steamwheeler football, it could be a tough night. So what do you see from Tulsa? What do you have to do to be successful coming up on Friday?
They're a great team, very well coached. We got to, bring our A game in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. So I'm excited. I know the guys are as well. I know Tulsa's going to be hungry to come in and try to take one from us at home. So we got to make sure we do what we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
You mentioned coming back to the Quad Cities. I've gotten to know Coach Ross over the last 7-8 years. He's been in the Quad Cities. A good human being, really good human being. What does that guy mean to this whole thing? And not just the football side of things. I get the football side of things, and he's a really good football coach. But talk about your relationship with Coach Ross, and what does he mean to Quad City Steamwheeler football being here for as long as he has?
I don't even know where to begin with Coach Ross, honestly. He is a great dude. After I left, I was in camp for Vegas actually last year in the IFL. And I got released and I got sent over here the week of the first game of the season last year. And I remember being on the phone with him for the first time before I flew in. And he had said he kept tabs on me, kept eyes on me. And as soon as, I was available, he wanted me. So, ever since I've been here and ever since I first talked to him on the phone, like, he's been like a brother to me. Like, he's awesome. He's awesome. I can call him for anything on or off the field. I know he cares about his players. He's a real personable guy, easy to talk to. I think any player would love to play for a coach like Coach Ross. So love that guy for sure. One
thing I love about Coach Ross, and it's not as much this year, but I've watched Wheeler's teams get better throughout the season. And I think you guys are, even forget about the loss, even throughout this year when you guys were 6-0, you could see yourselves getting better. It's always it's always good to learn and get better while winning, and winning masks some things. But do you see yourselves, take Green Bay out of this, forget about that one, but do you guys see yourselves getting better throughout the season when it comes to little things out there on the football field?
I do personally. Even coming into the season, we had a lot of rookies on both sides of the ball. We had 4 returners on defense and 4, I believe, on offense. So that's a lot of guys and a lot of new faces you got to kind of mesh together. So with training camp only being 2 weeks in this league, that's a short time to kind of get the guys you want. And then once the season starts, that's when you really start kind of, meshing together and kind of learning how each other plays. So I think it'll only get better. Guys are, if they don't have the playbook by this point, that's a problem, But I think the guys are getting a good grasp of things, and everyone kind of understands who each other are. So I think, as time goes on, it'll only get better. I think that's the case with any team, but I think the leadership we have with Coach Ross and our other coaches on the staff, I think definitely make that a lot easier for us and help the guys mesh really well.
Absolutely. One more football question. I got some fun questions I want to get to, but a little more with football. You look at this team, and every guy that I've had on this season talks about the chemistry of this team and the locker room and the vibe and all that kind of stuff. And I know winning makes chemistry easy, but you can tell there's a tight-knit group there with the Wheelers this year. Can you talk on that? And do you agree that things seem to be really well as chemistry goes as well?
Definitely. I mean, like you said, winning does kind of help a lot of those things. Winning solves everything, in my opinion. But I think even when you take that out of the equation, I think just the kind of guys that Coach Ross, recruits and wants on his team, I think that shows with this team we have now. A lot of guys, there's no like cliques, like groups where guys are only hanging out with a couple players off the field and stuff like that. Like everyone hangs out with everyone pretty much. Everyone's helping out with rides to the gym, to practice or wherever, or just to get food and stuff. So there are several guys that some of the players from last year brought in. Malik Duncan, he convinced some guys to come. I ended up talking to Coach Ross about bringing Chris Chukwuneke on the team, and I played with him at JMU years ago. So I think a lot of familiarity with guys on both sides of the ball definitely helps. You got guys who've known each other outside of football and for years leading in. So I think that helps out a lot. And we also have guys who've been in the league before as well. So they may not have been on our team, but they kind of know how the ins and outs are, the game day kind of vibe is. So I think all those things kind of mixed together definitely make it easy.
You mentioned earlier, you said something along the lines, I like to just go out and hit people. Talk about this game and what you do each and every week, because that's basically, if you're going to keep it simple, just go out there and hit people. Talk about the mentality or the makeup you have to play defensive line and to do it at all these different levels. Is it as simple as you just like hitting people? You seem like a nice guy.
For me personally, yes. I like to make things super simple, dumb them down. Like, I don't like all the extra stuff, trying to make things, bigger than what they are. Like, I play defensive line. I'm supposed to go out there and hit whoever has the ball. Just doing everything and anything to do that, But I think what's cool about this defense is everyone else has that mentality, but everyone does it like in their own way, So DBs can't have the same kind of – they can't play the same as defensive line, You got to be a little bit toned back because, you got pass interference calls and holdings and things like that. But I think what's fun about this defense is everybody has, I feel like, that mentality. They just go about it a different way. I'm super simple with it. Like, as soon as the ball snapped, I'm fighting, trying to get to the ball. Whoever has it, got to, hit them and get them on their back. So, but it's definitely fun, though, for sure.
Last one on football, because defense in this league is becoming more and more prevalent. I remember back in the indoor football days, it was we're going to score 70 points and there's still offense, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's a lot more attention to and the offense gets all the highlights and the touchdowns and all that kind of stuff, but defense has become a huge part of this game. Talk about how important you feel like your group is, and you have to have a championship defense, and I believe the Wheelers right now have a championship defense. Talk about how important your side of the football is.
It's definitely important. I mean, offenses are obviously high scoring in this league. The East is a lot different than the West, in terms of just scheme and offensive playbook, defensive playbook. But I mean, defense wins championships, and that's the same for every level, every league, no matter where you go. If you can't stop someone from scoring, you're not going to win. So I mean, it's super important. I think us as a defense and in the locker room, we kind of hold ourselves to a high standard. Try not to. We don't even want people to score 20 points on us. And that's if you score less than 20 points or around 20 in arena ball, 9 times out of 10 you lost that game. You know what I mean? So we like to put pressure on ourselves just to keep people, under a certain limit. 70-point games, obviously, fans are loving that and it's exciting. But I do love the fact that people are starting to see good defense being played is also exciting as well. You don't want to just see 100 to 90 or something like that every week because that gets kind of, in my opinion, boring. I mean, I am a little biased because I play defense, but great defensive play is more exciting in my opinion.
Absolutely. KeShaun Moore joining us right now from the Quad City Steamwheelers. I want to get to know you a little bit. You're a Virginia boy, right? From Virginia? So been in the Quad Cities over a year and some. Your thoughts on the Quad Cities, Midwest, Iowa, Illinois, that kind of stuff. You enjoying what you've seen so far?
For sure. I think coming into it, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been in Iowa, really. I'd been into Chicago like once or twice maybe in my life, but that's nothing like the QC, though. I think it's awesome. Coming from where I'm from in Virginia, it is a lot different, but not so much that, like when you talk to the people out in the community and stuff, like there's a lot of friendly people out here. There's not too much to do, but there's not nothing to do, So I kind of just work out and I'm at home. I like to go fishing and stuff. There's plenty of places to fish out here. I love to eat. So, I mean, there's plenty of food options out here. So, I mean, I've had a great experience out here for sure.
You're looking at my next question because I love food. When you're gonna treat yourself and pig out, have you found a place in the Quad Cities or something in the Quad Cities that you need to hit up when it comes to your favorite?
I've never seen Hawaiian Bros until I got here. I love Hawaiian Bros.
Yeah.
That's also one of our sponsors as well. They have great service, great food there. I love Hawaiian Bros. One local spot I do like is Vans as well. They got really good pizza.
Yeah.
So, I always try to stop by there at least once a week.
Okay.
So.
Okay. If you could have dinner, a meal with any person in the entire world, who would you want to have food with and why?
Ooh, I don't think I've ever been asked this before. If I had to have dinner with one person, I would maybe say, it's a hard one. Because there's plenty of people I feel like I could have a good conversation with.
Are you thinking sports? Are you thinking off the field? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking sports probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Donald, maybe.
Okay.
Both football guys, obviously. He's a weight room guy like myself. Maybe just kind of just asking him some things like just about football and like, working out, like kind of like some meathead kind of questions, But I would say him maybe. I'm a huge music fan as well, so maybe like Ozzy Osbourne or something like that. Like just about what it was like to be playing in the bands and stuff back in the 80s.
Yeah,
so, I don't know, something random, really.
No, I love it. You can talk to Aaron Donald about hitting people because I bet you guys both. Yeah. I guarantee you like to hit people. That's a beautiful thing. Are you superstitious at all when it comes to football, sports, life? And if so, what kind of superstitions do you have?
Kind of. I'm starting to kind of get away from it. One thing I do like to make sure of, though, is I always like to put my left socks and cleats on first before my right. That's like one thing like I always do.
Okay.
There's two songs in particular I always listen to before game day. Right before I put like my face paint on and stuff and go out to the games. But outside of that, I don't have too many superstitions. I'm a big like things will happen the way they're supposed to. So I try not to get caught up in all the extra stuff, really.
you're taking my next questions because you mentioned music. And you mentioned there's two songs you have to listen to. That was my next question. What's your pregame playlist? What are those 2 songs that you need to hear before you go on that turf?
So before, I used to listen to like a bunch of different stuff, like leading up to the games and everything. But now, I won't listen to anything really until we come back from like the pregame warm-ups, and then we're in the locker room waiting to go out. And there's 2 songs in particular. One is by a band called Electric Wizard. That's like a doom metal kind of band.
Okay.
It's called Funeralopolis. It's like one of their most famous songs. Another one is called Empress Rising by a band called Monolord. And they're both like 8 and like 10 minutes long. Like, they're super long songs. I like to have my face paint on, and I'll sit there, close my eyes, and just listen to those and kind of just like zone out and just like go to that place you got to go, Yeah. I play both of those, and it'll be like 20 minutes for me to listen to both of them. But those are the only 2 like I have to listen to every game day.
I love it. One more for you. It is halfway to Halloween, this Halloween or this Friday. Think back. Is there a Halloween costume that was your favorite that you've ever been? Dressing up when you were little or anything like that? Do you have one where it's like, man, this Halloween I was Aaron Donald or whatever?
To be honest, I couldn't even tell you the last time I dressed up and like went out for candy. I think I stopped maybe when I was like 9, maybe like 8 or 9.
Okay.
But I will say I did one year, I believe, dress up as like a Power Ranger when I was like young, super young, like toddler, and like right after that, like I was a huge Power Rangers fan. I remember dressing up as the Red Ranger.
Okay.
Back then, my mom's got tons of pictures of everything. But
if you had to dress up for Halloween now, what would your costume be?
I
got some tough questions here.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of directions I could go with it. I've contemplated just dressing up even before the game, like as a football player, and just like wearing my pads like to the game. I can't say farmer because that would be like some of the regular stuff I wear with like camo boots or overalls and stuff. If I had to pick, maybe like a musician or something, like maybe like dress up like a vintage like Ozzy Osbourne or something like that, because I like those style of clothes, like the vintage like graphic tees and jeans and boots or something like that, maybe.
No, I love it. It is halfway to Halloween this Friday at the Vibrant Arena. Before we let you go, give anybody who's listening to this that's wondering, like you mentioned, there's stuff to do in the Quad Cities, but there's not too much to do. If they got nothing going on Friday night, why should they get down and check out the 6-1 Quad City Steamwheelers?
If they want to see the greatest show in the Midwest, you got to come out to Vibrant Arena.
I love it. Hey, get back on track, get a win. We got that loss out of the way. I'm with you. Like, I felt like sometimes, and probably it was my fault, it's the media's fault usually, because we like to talk about undefeated, but that's not the goal. The goal is to get that loss out of the way. We're done. Now you can go finish the rest of the way and go win a championship. KeShaun, I appreciate you joining me. Stay healthy and get a win this weekend, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
All right. That's KeShaun Moore, the defensive end over at the Quad City Steamwheelers. They have a big game coming up this week. Get back on track against Tulsa. And don't forget, it's a Friday night game. So a Friday night game against Tulsa down at Vibrant Arena. Go get some tickets. Check it out. It'll be a ton of fun. Halfway to Halloween for the Quad City Steamwheelers. Well, we're just getting warmed up here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Wednesday. Coming up after the break, the Rock Island Rocks are the Western Big Six softball champions. They clinched it last night down in Quincy. So we're going to celebrate with them and talk to their head coach, Julia Hudnall, coming up right after the break, right here on OTA on a Wednesday.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend, Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. We've been talking a lot about spring sports, hitting the stretch drive, a lot of conference champions as we get ready for the postseason. And one of those conference champions in the Western Big Six or on the softball fields, Rock Island winning the Western Big Six outright with a victory in Quincy yesterday. And so just back from that lovely trip to Quincy and tired this morning a little bit, head coach for the Rock Island Rocks, Julia Hudnall. Coach, first and foremost, thanks for doing this. I know life is busy, so I appreciate you hopping on.
Hey, no problem. It is. It's fun right now, but it's busy. It is busy for sure, especially this week. We play 4 games in 4 days this week. So
yeah, no, you look at it and outright Western Big Six champions. And it's cool to do it home a lot, or at least in the area. You did it down in Quincy. Just talk about what it means, though, to hear those words and to know that you guys are outright Western Big Six champions.
It's a sigh of relief at this point. It's something that we've talked about all season long, but also at the same time not talked about. That was definitely one of our main goals that we wanted to accomplish this year. And as the games went on, we had an early loss against Sterling. And then we really had to scrap the rest of the year. We fought and fought night in and night out. And so to get the information that things had fallen in our favor and we took care of business in Quincy last night, it was a huge, smile and per se monkey off the back a little bit, and so it was awesome. It was a sigh of relief and excitement. And I'm so proud of our girls, for putting in the work and, taking it one game at a time, because we really did. Yeah.
You look at this conference and this conference well. It's not easy. It's never been easy. It hasn't been easy ever to win the Western Big Six. What does it mean to win not just a conference championship, but this conference that produces so much great softball talent? You never take any championship for granted, but this conference has a rich tradition in softball, doesn't it?
It does. I would put our conference up against any of them. And then we all go outside of the conference and play tough competition on top of that. So we're really, the conference, is really a battle night in and night out. I mean, you look at some of our situations, we beat Quincy 1-0 at home, and then we go and take care of business Sterling the second time around. So, it's a night in, night out situation. And that's what we, try to talk to our girls about all the time, is living in the moment and playing for each other for that day and that game. And that's the focus. So,
yeah. How do you let the kids celebrate? Because it's not, in front of the home fans with people rushing on the field and like that kind of thing. So what do you do to let the kids celebrate, and how long, I guess, do you let them celebrate? I know you got another game tonight and all those kind of things. You got to relock in, but you got to give them a chance as high schoolers to enjoy such a feat like a Western Big Six championship. So what was the celebration like way down there in Quincy?
It was kind of funny. We always dance after a win, a win. So we always circle up in left field and dance, there. So we did that for our traditional, like, we beat Quincy, got the win. And then, we had the information about Geneseo beating Sterling. And so I explained to the kids, I was like, we took care of business. We, and they just all kind of stared at me for a minute, and it didn't register. And I was like, we did it. We're conference champs, and then it erupted, and, we danced again in left field and, let the kids have their moment to celebrate that. It was kind of cool when Quincy introduced us. They did say, leading the Western Big Six at this point. So we at least got a little bit of acknowledgement, even being in Quincy. So that was kind of special for our girls to hear that. And so, unfortunately we were in Quincy, and that was the extent of our celebration. It's a long trip home from there. We turn around and play again today. So,
It wasn't a celebration per se, but you did have to go find a taco truck. Tell me about this, because I was stuck, and I say stuck in Quincy on Monday night, and I don't go to Quincy a lot, and it sounds really bad because I covered the area for 25 years. But when I got to be the boss, I didn't give myself that trip very often. We didn't make it a ton. You guys had to go find a taco truck. First, I'm disappointed that I didn't know about said taco truck ahead of time, but tell me about this tradition, and that's a good way. Mexican and food is always a good way to celebrate.
Yes. It started 3 years ago. Quincy has a taco truck, typically outside the Target parking lot. So for your next trip, you can check it out. And it kind of started as like a small little, hey, we want Mexican, here's where we're going, and then you park the bus and everybody scatters, gets food, and come back. Well, last night we had to find the taco truck and celebrate with our tacos. And then we got word that the taco truck was out of steak tacos.
Uh-oh.
So then everybody had to shift their mindset into something different. But it was amazing. They did a great job there. And so it's just kind of funny, one of those things that, the kids look forward to on a long bus trip. And then felt even better after securing the win last night. So
absolutely. You mentioned in a way a relief of a Western Big Six champion. When did you realize this was a special group? The expectations were there. Was there a point in the season, early in the season, off season, that you realized this is a special group, a conference championship type of group?
I would say, honestly, this started 3 years ago with some of those kids. Our 5, seniors have been playing varsity level softball, for multiple years at this point. We added in, some good little juniors. We added in 3 sophomores that have really helped us. So the expectations and that has been, definitely in the making of giving ourselves a chance to do what we did and win the Western Big Six title. I am super superstitious, so it wasn't ours till we won it last night, kind of a deal. And so, we tried to think one game at a time. The girls really grinded out some wins, especially in conference play. And so honestly, we knew we had the potential. It was just putting it out there. We knew we had potential, I would say even last year, and we let a couple games slip away from us that, at the end didn't allow us to take care of business. But this year we definitely knew, but coming with that comes that weight and that stress of, having that, that preseason target on your back, or, whatnot. And so it was, like we said, it was talked about, but it wasn't talked about because we didn't want to jinx anything. We didn't want to, put anything out there in the softball gods' hands. So.
No, absolutely. I got the pleasure of doing a Western Big Six softball game yesterday between Moline and UT for MC22. And I was just impressed. It was a 9-8 game. I was impressed with the offense. And I've seen the offense around this conference throughout the season. You're lucky to have not one, but two really good pitchers in Maddie Carroll and Lily McDaniel. Kind of talk about that. I mean, do you text the other coaches and say, haha, I got two? No. All right. But obviously pitching, and we know this, pitching wins softball games. Talk about those two young ladies and what they've meant to this team this season.
Pitching definitely wins softball games, but at the same time, it's a hitter's game right now. The world of softball is a hitter's game. And I think one of our best advantages is being able to throw two people at anybody at any given time. And Maddie Carroll and Lily McDaniel have had amazing seasons for us. They really have controlled the lineups of the Western Big Six, and having one right-handed and one left-handed, it looks different, and they both want the ball in big situations. They are both, masters of their craft. They put in the work, and they have really, really, kept us in, games throughout the year is through our pitching. I mean, we have definitely, that is one of our, biggest accolades per se, is being able to have that 1-2 punch, and you never know what you're going to get with them.
Absolutely. Rock Island head coach Julia Hudnall joining us right now. A couple more before I let you get back to actually doing job and work and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what that's like anymore, I don't think. But you look at, and on my show, been doing it for 4 months, and I've been lucky enough to have Taylor Panel on, and Anna Woolers down in Auburn, and just last week Peyton Brown, who was OVC Player of the Year down at Western Illinois, and Kendra Lewis was sitting here on Monday. Amazing season at Wisconsin. Our area has a ton of great softball, but I wanted to pick out Taylor because, I mean, she's playing for one of the best teams in the entire country and is one of the best players in the entire country, and she's a rock. How much do those girls follow what she's doing and root for? And also, what does it mean to them to see somebody like them that's doing it on the highest level and kind of give them inspiration for what this game can be for kids right here in the Quad Cities and at Rock Island High School?
Yeah, Taylor is having an amazing season. It has been so fun to watch her. I know our kids are watching her and supporting her. I know we in Rock Island are supporting and watching her. And so we wish her the best here in the postseason play with Tennessee, to be able to have our kids be able to watch someone, and with all of them. I mean, and it's not just, Taylor, but it's extra special because it is Taylor. To watch them play softball at the highest level, and for them to know that someone from Rock Island can do those things. And our seniors got to play, with Taylor for a season. So they got to learn from her, and they got to see how those things and how she did things, and how, what she was a leader for that team her senior year. So Taylor has definitely had an impact on, the situation, and she's a great kid. She's an even better human being than she is a softball player. So, that is the biggest thing, is learning through Taylor's resilience, with her injury and setbacks, and then coming back to have the season that she's having right now is, something that we talk about, and having that resilience that, one play might not go your way, but the next one might. So you got to have that short-term memory and be able to have fun playing softball. And, that's the cool part about the Quad Cities is we have produced some awesome softball players here, and we'll continue to produce. Yeah. We're not done. I mean, 4 of my seniors are going to play at the next level. So, it's a cool and rich traditional softball situation here in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, and I look at it too. I mean, obviously some of the some of the ones that are on the biggest level get a lot of the headlines, but they go off to a lot of colleges, and even the colleges here. Blackhawks get ready to go to nationals. John Nelson's team had a fantastic season. Ambrose has a great program. So, yeah, it's really cool to see the talent here in the Quad Cities. Before I let you go, the one of the goals was a Western Big Six championship, but that wasn't the only goal. As we mentioned, it's a busy week, a lot more softball left to be played, and then the postseason comes along as well. How are you? And I know coaches are never happy. Or content, I should say, not happy, but content. Where are you at with this group, with the postseason right around the corner? Always difficult in the class that you guys are at, but how do you feel about this team? And it looks like a team, especially with the pitching that they have, that can make some noise in the postseason as well.
We're definitely working day in and day out to be playing our best softball here in the last couple weeks. We're using these games, practice next week to prepare for whatever is thrown our way. We won't really know till tomorrow. And so I think, just making sure that we steady the course. Consistency is best in doing what we're doing and taking care of what we're doing. Postseason is postseason. You take it one game at a time, and I think we have a chance to make some noise. That is definitely number 2 on the priority list. Is get past that regional, and so that is the next box on the list per se. Is making some noise in the postseason, and I think that when we put it all together and get ourselves a chance, we're going to be a force to reckon. So it'll be fun to watch.
Well, I appreciate you doing this. Julia Hudnall, head coach for the Western Big Six champion, Rock Island Rocks. That sounds okay, right?
It sounds okay. It sounds awesome.
Decent.
Yes.
Just walk around today.
All the hard work is paid off for sure. The girls have deserved it. So.
Make sure everybody calls you that today. Head coach of the Western Big Six champion. Best of luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck and congratulations to the Rocks once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. That is Julia Hudnall, head coach of the Western Big Six Rock Island Rocks. A good ring at Rock Island High School. Of course, they are. They got one game left. 12-1 right now in the Western Big Six, and a great season for them. And love hearing her talk about Taylor Pandel as well, because I think the entire Quad Cities is watching that young lady right now as well. Well, we got much more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? That fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Right fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. A lot going on in the world of sports. My commercial breaks are busy because I'm trying to grab some things here and there and everywhere. But wanted to talk about a couple things before we let you guys go for today and kind of look ahead to next week, or later this week, I should say, as well. But the NFL schedule is slowly starting to be leaked and released. And we do know now that the mighty Chicago Bears will host the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football prime time to open the season. So it'll be the Vikings and the Bears, Benedict Johnson, whatever you want to call him, Ben Johnson, I'm kidding, will be the Monday night game, one of the Monday night games to open the NFL season. So also we do know the Lions and Packers are week 1 as well. That game is at Lambeau Field, a 3:25 start. We know that on Thanksgiving, the Lions will host the Packers. So it'll be another Thanksgiving in my house where we have a division rival to deal with. Last year was the Bears. Last couple of years, I think it was the Bears. And then this year, or often it's the Bears, but this year the Packers and Lions are reportedly to be playing on Thanksgiving. And then Lions are playing on Christmas as well. So there's a wife of mine that's probably not too thrilled about that. But it's one thing to take Thanksgiving. And I don't mind. She loves us watching the games and stuff. But in my opinion is, and I know this because I watch it, my team loses on a holiday, it kind of ruins the day. So hopefully, but it's the Lions and Vikings in Minnesota on Netflix only on Thanksgiving. So those are some of the games that have been announced so far. The official reveal of the NFL schedule comes up tonight. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Trying to think of a way to kind of go through the Bears schedule. No one cares what I really think, although I'm usually right. I'm always right, especially when it comes to those guys. But we'll find somebody to maybe go through the Bears schedule and figure it out. I know the NFC North plays 2 tough divisions in their crossover divisions. It's the AFC North and I think the NFC East. So Washington, Philly, Dallas, whatever, and the Giants, whatever. But the AFC North, really good with Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland as well. So we'll kind of go over those tomorrow as well. Also tomorrow, Throwback Thursday, we're working on that right now, and a few other things we're working for as well. I do want to congratulate the Blackhawks softball team. We had Josh Keener on the show on Monday. They will play on the following Monday. Coming up Monday, May 19th. They'll play down in Alabama, I think is what he said. Yeah, Alabama, at 1 o'clock Central Time. I'm trying to find whom they're playing. And I had it, and I can't find it, so I'm not going to deal with it. I just know that they are playing. So we wish them the best of luck as well. Again, most wins in program history. Coach Keener is a Coach of the Year in the region. So a lot of good things going on with the Blackhawks softball program. So we wish them the best of luck moving forward. Of course, we want to thank today's guest, Joe Wieskamp, taking the time to join us up from Des Moines. He's a father of one and expecting another one in August, but him and his lovely wife, Mackenzie, are planning their fourth annual Wieskamp basketball camp. It's Wieskamp Skills and Basketball Camp. It's coming up on June 24th. There's my little cheat sheet. June 24th at Muscatine High School. So go online, get that signed up for. My sons have been there. They love it. I know some of them will be back again this year, I'm sure. So a great time. Mackenzie does a great job with the young ladies as well. Joe does a great job with the guys. So get down to Muscatine High School and support the Wieskamp camp. And enjoy a great day of basketball as well. So great to catch up with Joe also about, the Iowa basketball program. Of course, Fran McCaffrey, no longer the head coach. And his thoughts on Ben McCullum. So go check out Joe Wieskamp if you didn't get a chance to see that to start the show. It was also Steamwheeler Wednesday. So KeShaun Moore was with us kind of talking about a loss. First time we've talked about a loss today, but what they learned from the loss on the road at Green Bay. And more importantly, we move forward. And the Wheelers back in action this Friday night when they host Tulsa down at the Vibrant Arena. So go check out the Wheelers. They're still 6-1. They're still very, very good. And again, the goal is not to go undefeated. The goal is to win an IFL championship, and they've got a good chance of doing that this year as well. And of course, we caught up with Julia Hudnall. She is the head coach of the Rock Island softball team. The Rocks clinching a Western Big Six championship yesterday. So awesome to talk to her. Also great to get her perspective on softball in our area, and especially another Rock Island product, Taylor Panel, doing big things with Tennessee. So great to catch up with her. If you missed that, go check it out. On Monday, we had Kendra Lewis, Pat Anger, and Josh Keener. Yesterday, Andrew Lehman from the John Deere Classic, Kyle Huseman from the Hawkeye Report, and North soccer coach David Gamble. So go check out those shows as well. We talked about it at the start of the show. Coming up on Friday, we will be joined by Illinois head football coach Brett Bielema. Straight off, I should say, a 6-year extension. So he's making $7.7 million a year, which is awesome. He's the 8th highest paid coach in the Big Ten, and he's done great stuff with Illinois, and they have high expectations coming into this season. So we will talk with Brett Bielema coming up on Friday's show. If you got a question for Brett Bielema, a thought, something you want to hear me ask him, put in the chat, or you can also direct message me or message me on all the social media, and we'll get to some of those. So excited to get to Brett Bielema coming up later this week as well. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Enjoy another great day here in the Quad Cities. And then come on back and check out another edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We do this thing every single weekday at 10 a.m. And the reason why we get to do those things are these fine sponsors right here. So thanks again for their support. And thanks again for you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of OTA.